I have one thing to say to you. Kiss my fat ass.
Although celebrities seem like they're probably perfect all the time, they're not at all. And celebrities that are known for their perfect looks can change and let their guard down. And whether it was for a role or because of their actions, some celebrities have let themselves go at one point or another, and that's perfectly okay. Hey, what's up everyone? It's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 celebrities who let themselves go. But before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe below. Also check out our playlist up there of other videos just like this one. So starting off at number 10, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger. So before Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the movie business, he was a professional weightlifter. So when he started to get cast in movies like The Terminator, he was known for his buff body and incredibly fit physique. But since he was so fit for so long, it's impossible to assume he could stay that way forever. And now that he's 73, he obviously isn't as fit as he once was, and that's perfectly okay. Like, who could expect him to be in perfect shape forever? Nobody, right? But he actually opened up about his body in an interview, saying because he is no longer able to stay in peak shape as he ages, he wants to vomit when he looks at himself, saying he has always had body image issues even when he was winning competitions back in the day. He still never thought he looked good enough. And considering his age, I literally didn't even think he looked bad whatsoever. He just obviously, isn't as fit as he used to be, which is completely fine. I think he still looks really good though. And at number 9, Jared Leto. Jared Leto really let himself go in order to gain weight for a role that he was in. When he was preparing for the role of Mark David Chapman in Chapter 27, he gained roughly 67 pounds for the role. He gained the weight by drinking microwave pints of ice cream mixed with soy sauce and olive oil every night, which sounds so disgusting. Like, if I was gonna be gaining weight, it would be, cake and brownies for me. But because he gained the weight so quickly, he contracted gout, and he used a wheelchair because of the stress on his body. After the movie was finished, he told The Guardian in 2014, quote, "Really, it's a stupid thing to do," continuing that he would never do it again for a movie. His cholesterol also went up so quickly that his doctors considered putting him on intense medications, and even commented it was harder to gain the weight than to lose it for the role he played in Requiem for a Dream. And at number 8, Matt Damon. Matt Damon is another actor that completely let himself go when he was preparing to star in the film The Informant, with him gaining roughly 30 pounds for the 2009 film. He told news outlets that he would, quote, "eat everything he could see," and gorged on McDonald's meals, Doritos chips, and beer. Adding, quote, "It was very, very easy to gain the weight. It was very, very fun. Probably the funnest time I had working, because I didn't have to go to the gym after work, and I just ate everything I could see." Admitting that he definitely got a bit doughy, in his words. Adding, quote, "Between meals on set, I'd eat a #1 value meal at McDonald's, and then Doritos on top of it. It was absolute heaven." But later on, when he had to lose the weight, is when he said he had the hardest time, showing that he took up boxing to lose the weight, saying, quote, "If you put it on, it's easier to get it back off. I'm just boxing. I figure if you hit it enough times, it'll fall off." Now I'm the sexiest man alive's chunky cousin. And at number 7, Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks delivered probably one of the most iconic speeches directed at her haters ever after she was called out for letting herself go, but decided to clap back. In 2007, after some unflattering paparazzi photos came out of her in a bathing suit, the media called her overweight and bashed her. So she decided to clap back, Tyra style, and she came on her own show, The Tyra Banks Show, to talk about it. She came out in the same bathing suit she was photographed in and gave a long monologue about her fluctuating weight and the fact that she was raised proud of her body, but if she wasn't, she might have been starving herself after seeing the headlines. And the best part of the monologue was when Tyra finished it off, telling everyone that was talking badly about her that they could, quote, "kiss my fat ass." And apparently after that, the press never ran a bad story about her body again, so hey, it worked. And at number 6, Rob Kardashian. Rob Kardashian has dealt with a lot over the years since his family became famous and then seemed to kind of stop caring about him. Rob opened up about his issues with his family in some episodes of Keeping Up, saying that he felt isolated from the rest of his family since they were all women, and felt that he was not given the same opportunities as his sisters. As a result of these struggles, Rob gained weight while filming for the show, and his weight issues only got worse when he got into a relationship with Blac Chyna, and their on and off again nature made both of them a little crazy. At one point, Rob gained over 100 pounds, making his family very concerned about his mental state. However, recently Rob seems to be developing a better lifestyle and losing weight, so I'm hoping that his relationship with his family has improved and he'll have their support along the journey. Halfway through number 5, Charlize Theron. Charlize went through an incredible weight gain when she was preparing for a role in the film Tully, which is about a mom of 3 making friends with her babysitter. The 42-year-old actor said she ate a high-fat diet and literally stuffed her face every day to give off the appearance of a mom who's let herself go. And after months of non-stop eating, she put on 50 pounds. Saying in an interview, quote, "I just wanted to feel what this woman felt. And I think that was a way for me to get closer to her and get into that mindset." But she opened up that it was a lot harder than people thought to do, saying, "I got hit in the face pretty hard with depression. The first 3 weeks are always fun because you're just kind of a kid in a candy store. So it's fun to go out and have breakfast at In-N-Out and have 2 milkshakes. And then after 3 weeks, it's not fun anymore. Like all of a sudden you're just done eating that amount and then it becomes a job." Admitting that it took a year and a half for her to lose all the weight. But this is not the first time she gained weight for a role, as for her role in Monster, she gained 30 pounds. In at number 4 is Shia LaBeouf. Shia was a child star, and with that comes a whole host of issues, like growing up too fast and being exposed to things at a young age. And Shia was an incredibly successful child star, getting his breakout fame from the hit show Even Stevens. But when he was growing out of that child stardom is when Shia became incredibly self-destructive, and made the downfall of his career even worse. In those years he was getting into multiple public fights, once slamming into the back of his neighbor's car because he was blocking his path, and allegedly even waved a at him. Another incident was when he was arrested for disorderly conduct and criminal trespassing during a performance of Cabaret at New York's Studio 54 Theater, swearing and spitting on the officers as they showed him out. He also was arrested in Georgia for public drunkenness and disorderly conduct, and made racist statements towards one of the officers while the arrest was taking place. Now that Shia is in a better place, he went on the Jimmy Kimmel Show to talk about all of it, admitting he went a little crazy back then, especially with the drinking, and saying that he's learned his lesson and will be dialing it down. And now that Shia is working on films, I think it's safe to say he's back on track. And at number 3, Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger was put on a 4,000 calorie a day diet to gain weight for the movie Bridget Jones: The Edge of Reason, according to People. Zellweger went from a size 4 to 14, eating 4,000 calories a day in the 2004 sequel. The actress gained 30 pounds and had milkshakes of Ben & Jerry's, but it was mentally very hard for her because of the health effects. Opening up in an interview, quote, "I had panic attacks with all the specialists talking about how bad this is for you long term, putting on that much weight in short periods of time." But even though it was hard at times, Renee was willing to put on the weight again for the 3rd movie, even though her and the director agreed it was not necessary, and she stayed her usual weight for the 3rd film. And at number 2, Christian Bale. Christian Bale gained 43 pounds when he was bulking up for his role in the film American Hustle, eating donuts, cheeseburgers, and more to pack on the weight, going from 185 pounds to 228 pounds for the film. But that's not all, he also shaved his head and even slouched in order to get into character. And apparently he slouched so much that he accidentally herniated a disc in his back. Ugh. Bale was even so unrecognizable on the set of the film that Robert De Niro had to ask who Bale was when he first met him on set. But Bale opened up for that role. He gained weight in a very unhealthy way, just letting himself go and eating whatever he wanted with no control. But when he had to gain weight for his role in the movie Vice, he worked with a nutritionist to gain weight in a healthy way, saying in an interview, quote, "It was the first time in my life that I realized I had to do this in a smart way. I've lost weight, I've gained weight, but I never went to a nutritionist in my life. It was the first time that I said, you know what, I better really do this in the right way." And it's a good thing he did. And finally, number 1, Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was insanely successful in the later years of his showbiz career, starring in 2.5 Men, which was a ratings goldmine at the time. But Charlie always had a bad boy reputation and got himself into some really bad situations, with it mostly being known for his drug use and outbursts. He also accidentally shot his fiancée, Kelly Preston's arm in 1990. Which I actually didn't even know about until researching for this video. And even though Charlie was out partying most of the time he was doing 2.5 Men, he was still playing his character quite well, but after some time his self-destructive behavior on set cost him his career, with the show's director and other stars speaking out about the terrible behavior Charlie had on set, with him getting kicked off the show and replaced with Ashton Kutcher. Alright guys, that is all for the list. Let me know what you're thinking down below. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from my video on celebs we cannot relate to. And I just wanted to say that I filmed that video before the news came out that Chrissy Teigen lost her baby, and I obviously wouldn't have included that if I filmed that after. Mother of Chaos said, "I'm surprised you didn't have Ellen on the list. I kind of thought she'd be number 1 after that comment she made about feeling like she was in jail in that huge house of hers during the quarantine." Honestly, really good point. I probably should have included Ellen, but on IO, if you watch me on IO, we just do way too many Ellen videos over there, so I'm done with Ellen. I don't want to talk about her anymore. Then Samantha said, "Gwyneth's vajayjay candle is TMI and gross." I mean, it's definitely very strange, but she also might just be like the queen of marketing because she clearly got all of our attentions. I mean, even if I saw that candle out at a store, I would have to smell it. Like I would have no choice but to smell it. Like I need to see what it smells like. Even though later, I think someone came out that it actually doesn't smell like her, you know? It just smells like what she wants it to. So like vanilla and rose and a bunch of bullshit. So it's not even truly the smell, which is kind of like disappointing, you know what I mean? If I'm buying it, I want, I want the smell. Anyways guys, that is all for me today. Thanks so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. And make sure to like and subscribe below if you want to see more. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I'll see you in the next one.